Want to see a real example of great design elements? Today, we will look at the level Thwomp Tower by creator OCOC and analyze course design, and we're starting right now. From the very beginning of this course, the lighthearted music gives the player a sense of relaxation that typically does not go with thwomps. Subconsciously, OCOC is setting the foundation for his Thwomp cooperative course. I love how the beginning hints to the player that a reward could be above the Thwomp without making it too obvious by showing the question block in plain view. At the start of the second area, a terrifying moment where a Thwomp chases you turns out to be completely safe because of the sloped area at the end of his path. I enjoy that the Thwomps help the player progress through seemingly dreadful tasks. In this instance, the Thwomp not only moves the player forward, but also triggers the exclamation block to cover these nasty spikes. Again, OCOC rewards player exploration by giving them a 1-up mushroom, but does not leave it in plain sight. At this point, he introduces the idea that the Thwomps can trigger on-off blocks. I think it's brilliant to introduce all of these mechanics in a simple way first, and then expand on them as the level develops. At this moment in the course, I was very hesitant. We all know it's a bad idea to get underneath a falling Thwomp. In this case, though, our level creator explains that it'll be okay by giving us 2 downward arrows and nowhere else to go. Once we reluctantly trust these indicators, we learn that Thwomps interact with clouds by pushing the player through them. Now that that idea is established, our creator has fun by taking it to the next level. This time we must pass 3 dropping Thwomps on a cloud at the same time. I should also say that I really appreciate the punishment for the player is to start over on this obstacle, but not on the entire course. This is a great lesson for everyone that failure does not always need to result in the death of the player. Here he reminds us of previous mechanics. Thwomps can push you and can trigger on-off blocks. Now though, he shows us an extremely creative combination of his previous elements. Not only can Thwomps trigger exclamation blocks, the blocks they trigger can move them to a completely different plane of movement. This genius combination allows the Thwomps to act as a taxi service that can move the player more than just left and right or up and down. I also love how he uses coins to ensure that the player knows that they're doing this correctly. Now we get to the meat of the course. This is the most complex area, and it definitely takes the player the most thought to complete. I feel that the checkpoint placement right before this puzzle was very appropriate, and I also appreciate that our creator gave the player a reset door with indicators in case they make a mistake. Now that OCOC has established how Thwomps and exclamation mark blocks synergize together, the player must apply and test this knowledge to progress through the course. We also learn that regular-sized Thwomps acts as if the player hit the exclamation mark block once, and big Thwomps acts as if we ground-pounded the block. This puzzle is very satisfying when done correctly, because all of the Thwomps blocking the path forward are destroyed, and our creator leaves us with a very nice clapping sound effect. I like that he left this puzzle for later in the level after establishing mechanics a few times, so that the player understands how to do the puzzle. Players should always have the skills to complete a puzzle, so that they can focus on figuring out the proper order and execution instead. After this puzzle, we continue forward and are revisited by similar mechanics as the beginning. This is a great way to give the course a sense of consistency. Because these ideas are a bit easier than what we just completed, we also get some breathing time to relax before the next difficult section in the course. Toward the end, we've got a lot of callbacks to earlier ideas, and then 2 somewhat perilous sections. Thwomps are used to trigger on-off blocks again, but the player can easily jump on top of the Thwomps to get by smoothly here. This section has the Thwomps crash together, which could be deadly if poor Luigi got trapped inside, but it's also a very easily avoidable danger. Once the player continues forward, they receive a lot of cheering, Thwomp movement outside of the pipe, and even fireworks. This is a great way to send the player off and recap the good times with our friend, Mr. Thwomp. Thwomp Tower shows a fantastic blend of creativity of the theme, clarity of intent, and reward for exploration. OCOC shows us many uses of thwomps never seen before, and gives the player arrows and coins to understand what to do. If you want to play the entire level for yourself, I will leave the code in the description below. If you have well-designed levels and want to be considered for a spotlight video, join our Discord server or stop by our Twitch channel. Those links will also be in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.